Hello everyone, Vanguard of Valor here, and welcome back to another episode of Dwarf Fortress. Now we're building up our defenses on the outside again, putting up some perimeter walls, which will hopefully allow us to get access to the outside in the event that we do get besieged soon, which is entirely possible, because we have been playing for quite some time. We have some other things to work with, though, that are highly important, and they are specifically our military. There's a bunch of little military things we're going to hopefully get done today that will make our fortress a little bit more effective, and we have some armor to make over here in our metalsmith's workshop, because we have a variety of goodies that we can acquire if we can actually produce the things we need. And we'll try and also do a little bit of cleaning up here and there and see if we can't get our fortress looking a little bit smoother, you know what I mean? So, where are we going to start off with today? Well, let's come back up to our main level. There we go. And to start off today, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at our beds in here. Now, part of the problem here, I believe, when I made this bedroom originally, I set the whole room as being the bedroom, set it as a barracks with B over here, but I didn't change all of the other beds. I assumed since they were within the bedroom set as the barracks, people would use them, but it appears people aren't using them properly. So I'm going to set them all to be bedrooms, set them all to be part of a barracks, just to be sure. And that way, even if that's not the right way to do it, this should work for everybody. And I think the other problem here is that I haven't told each of the groups that they're allowed to use it. So like if we were to scroll through them, I'm not sure if they're all allowed in. But it doesn't seem... I have to set them for Z for sleep. That's the problem, isn't it? Yeah, that was what it was. I didn't set them allowed to sleep here. That was pretty silly of me. So we'll set all these guys able to sleep in all these rooms. I don't know if I have to do it individually or if doing it for one does it for all of them, but I'm just going to take it on the safe side, make sure we do all of them, and that way we don't have to worry about it happening later. Make it a barracks again, set sleep for everybody with Z. There we go. A little bit tedious, but this should work okay. One problem we might run into, again, even with this setup, though, is that it's possible that these beds might get claimed by a single dwarf, and we have more than 10 dwarves in our military, so if they do, we might have to add in a bunch more beds for the remainder of our military dwarves, so they actually all have a place to sleep. But if that is in fact the case, we will find out when it happens, and we will deal with it then. This should, at the very least, give us a little bit better situation here with our beds for our soldiers. So that'll be good because it's not much fun having our soldiers, who are the lifeblood of our fortress later on. Rather, they'll be what keeps the blood in our dwarves. Not nice to have them be sleeping on the ground. So we'll have them all have somewhere to sleep, and that should make everything better. Now, once that's set up, it shouldn't take too much longer. It is a little bit tedious going through every single bed and doing this, but I'd much rather be on the safe side than be incorrect. Now, there we go. Last one finished off. Good. That should help with our beds situation. Now, on the other hand, what else have we got to do? Well, we gotta drop down here below, where we did building ourselves some armor today. That's a bit of an ordeal. So we're going to come into here to our metalsmith's forge, and we're going to make some things here. In our metalsmith's forge, we need to acquire some armor. Armor has its own setting here as A for armor. We're making iron because that's the materials that we've got. So, iron armor. There's a whole list of things here, and what do we actually need from them? Well, what we're going to be making is a specific set of these things. If you wear all of your armor from the very beginning, and your dwarves aren't trained to wear all that much armor, they're going to get slowed down a huge amount by all the weight they'll be wearing, especially because this is all metal armor. It's pretty heavy. What we do instead of making all of this stuff for them is we make a very limited selection of things, and that gives them a little bit of a reduced amount of weight. It still gives them the full protection, or at least close to the full protection of wearing full metal armor, but doesn't make them have the huge problem of being massively overweighted. So, what kind of things here do we need? Well, we want to make sure we cover the different parts of the bodies, so that's important. We want to make sure that we cover the different types of armors here. Like for the chest here, there's mail shirt or breastplates. We get leggings or greaves, helms or caps, gauntlets or high boots, and shields or gauntlets and high boots aren't the same thing, of course. That's for your hands, that's for your feet. Or you can make a shield or a buckler. Well, what we need to do is we need to equip all of our military dwarves with a whole bunch of this stuff. What we're going to be picking is every dwarf gets a mail shirt. Every dwarf gets a helm, every dwarf gets gauntlets, and every dwarf gets boots. The thing about gauntlets and boots is they're made individually, so you do have to craft 2 of them for a set of gauntlets or a set of boots. And every dwarf is probably going to get a shield out of wood, though. We don't want to make iron shields because the material for your shield doesn't make any difference to how well it deflects things, and iron is much heavier than wood. So we'll be making our shields out of wood. But we do need to make sure everyone has mail shirts, everyone has greaves. No greaves. Mail shirts, helms, gauntlets, boots. Those are the 4 things we'll be giving everybody, and that should make them pretty well protected. Now, iron gear does not protect very well against steel weaponry, but it protects really well against anything of its same level or lower. So that should make us pretty much safe from most of the enemies we should be facing right now, and that would be lovely. So we're going to start producing some of these things. We're going to make some mail shirts. So we have a lot of military dwarves, a lot of them. So it's going to take us a lot of these steps. That's 10. Now I believe we need 19 at the moment, because if we check in our military, we have 5 people in this squad, 5 in this squad, 5 in this squad, and 4 in this squad. We should probably add somebody else to the Courageous Syrups, but for the moment, we'll leave it as is. And that would be good. So if we fill them up, that's half of the armor we need. It's going to take a long time to make that much armor, but it's a good thing to get started on it, because otherwise we'll never get it done at all. Now, some other things we could be doing. There are plenty of other things we could be doing. First of all, we're going to come up here and make sure that everything is still moving smoothly out there. Our wall is still being built. Now we're making our wall out of just stone. If we want to make it go a little bit quicker, we could make smooth stone quartzite blocks and then reset these walls to use those. They're easier to move around and they make the walls a little bit quicker. But as it stands, I think this should be fine. Should be fine. Why is everybody sleeping? Oh, they're doing training right now, aren't they? Yeah, it's just getting confused because there's all of those question marks and babies and whatnot. I think that's a training session going on there. If we investigate them, I believe... Yeah, there's a bunch of people there. They're training against each other. There's 2 babies and 2 dwarves in there. There's just one person. There's a person and a baby. They're probably all attending classes or something, or just doing a training. And that's fine. As long as their skills continue to improve, that will be good. But here's the thing. As we build this gear, as we eventually create these various metal chest pieces, the problem is we aren't actually set up to use them. So we're going to need to equip our dwarves with uniforms in the military, so they can actually use the armor that we're making, because as it stands, the armor goes against the uniforms they've been given, or at least I believe it does. If we go over to uniforms here with N, I think they've all been told just to wear leather. So we're going to need to come in here and specify the things that I want them to use. So, in order to do that, we'll probably make ourselves a new uniform. And that will take a little bit of time here. What we're going to do is we're going to hit C to add a uniform. Uniform 4, we're going to rename it with capital N. And we're going to call this our intermediary armor. Because this is not what we want to have at the final stage. We want to have steel stuff. Or really, final stage would be adamantium, but that's probably going to take a while. We will take intermediary armor. Did I say adamantium? Anyway, intermediary armor. We're going to be using this for our iron gear, so we need to come and specify the various things that we're allowed to use. So, mail shirts. Yes, mail shirts. Specifically, though, we want iron mail shirts, so we have to specify that in the material before we pick it. So we go capital M, iron mail shirts. There we go, after we pick it. And that gives us the thing we specifically want. Now we hit A... Oh, no! Wrong button! I haven't done this specifically often, so we have to make sure we do it properly. Capital A, not just A, to switch back to armor. Then we can pick the next piece. So we will be picking something else that were from our list. We will be using, if we can find it... Oh, where's the pieces? Oh, right, they're separated. I forgot about that. What a mess. Legs. Specifically, we're not using legs. Helms. Yes, everybody will be having a helm. It'll be made out of iron, so if we come back over here, specify it, material, we pick iron, and there we go, iron helms. We will go back to gloves. We'll make sure everyone has gauntlets. Those will be, of course, iron gauntlets, no other materials, because we might wind up with some other random stuff from other people, but we want to be using our iron because it is pretty much the best thing we could have right now. We will go back over to boots, and we will make it say high boots. Yes, and high boots, of course, made out of iron. There we go. Now we're going to probably need to make specific weapon selections as well, so we may need to double this up into a second set so we can have intermediary armor melee and intermediary armor range, and that's probably wise. Otherwise, people will not pick the right weapons for their squads. We might even have to make a set for our sword users and one for our axe users. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Otherwise, we're going to run into trouble. So, it's adamantine and not adamantium. But yeah, we'll do that. We'll set them up individually so each squad can have the correct gear equipped. We will set that for weapon now. We will have warhammers. Nope. Short swords, yes. Short swords, yes. And we'll be picking iron for that material as well. We want to be using the correct materials for all of our gear, otherwise people will not be using the right things. Now the only problem here is if we're using iron short swords, we may need to swap that over to our wooden training swords for now, so they're not using the wrong weapon. In fact, for now I will not specify a weapon, and that will be fine. So if we cancel out this specific thing with enter to delete the item, we can use just the armor for now, and they should keep using what they're already using, and that should be great. I should say, I do believe this does specify, but if you don't say it, I don't think it matters. So this should work out okay. If it doesn't, we'll have to come back in here and fix it. But we will go back to our squads with P. There we go. And now we need to actually give them the uniforms. So can we not do that from here now? I thought we could. Strange. Uniforms. How? I'm a little bit confused now. Supplies? No, that's not right. Oh, equip. There it is. There it is. Okay. I don't know how I missed that. We go into equip. We need to specify that they wear the specific gear, because we don't have these leather things. We don't want leather. We want actually good gear. So we're going to give them uniforms. We can assign uniforms using capital U. We will do just that. We will assign them... Oh, hang on. Yes, shift and enter for the squad. This is not working properly. What's it doing? I'm trying to give them... Oh, that's the problem. We couldn't see it. Intermediary armor. That should give everybody in the squad intermediary. Oh, I did it wrong again. Oh my goodness. Excuse me. I haven't done this in a while. So, what I was trying to do here. Come into the equip menu with E. We hit capital U to assign a uniform and pick a person. Go over here to this thing on the right. All of these were invisible, which is why I was confused. Over to intermediary armor. Hit shift and enter, and that should equip everybody in the squad with intermediary armor. Yes. Good. That means that they will try and put on the iron gear we have given them. We come in here again, we do it again, intermediary armor, shift and enter, good, into tin virgins as well, intermediary armor, shift and enter, and now we'll see if they actually keep their various weapons or if we have to go back and fix that too. We will see though. Not something I have experimented with recently. We will see what happens. We have an equipment mismatch now, so people should probably go try and trade in their gear, but we will see. What did they drop here? Did they just like drop all their training swords? Oh, they dropped all their crossbows. Okay, I did do that wrong. We're going to have to go back in there and fix our sets for the individual groups. In fact, I will do that off screen because you've already seen how the general idea works, and I will be right back. So, there we have it. We now have 3 separate things, which I should have made in the first place. Tier 1 sword, Tier 1 axe, and Tier 1 archer. Because they're all using iron, we'll upgrade to Tier 2 and we have steel. As it stands, though, they're all basically the same thing, except for Tier 1 includes short swords, this one for axes includes iron battle axes, and Tier 1 for archer includes crossbows, just meaning they can actually use the weapons that they're supposed to be using. So that's good. That's good indeed. We are going to go back now to the equip menu and give them the appropriate thing. Done like we did previously, we go into U to assign uniforms, we go into the squad we want to give a uniform, and we give them the appropriate uniform with shift and enter, and that should give it to everybody, which is good. Now, squad 1 is axes, squad 2 is for swords. There it is. Hit enter on sword. Everyone has it now. Good. Squad 3 and 4 are both archers, so we give them that, and everything should be fantastic. If we go back now, they should reassess their plans, go pick up the axes they had previously dropped, the crossbows they had previously dropped and whatnot, and everything should work much better. There we go. That's better. People should pick up the appropriate gear now, and things should be much better. Unfortunately, we're going to have to make sure we actually give them the right things, or at least give them the possibility of having the right things, but they will try and get them now, so that's good. Our dwarves are going to move around a little bit frantically now, trying to find all the gear I just told them to get, but this should work out okay. Our iron mail shirts are slowly being made. We are still making charcoal, which is good. Are we making soap still? No, we don't have any tallow. It's fair enough. We're going to probably stop making lye, though, in that case, because we're not going to need too much more if we can't turn it into anything. And our charcoal production is still going well, and our iron production is still going well. So as long as we don't run out of those materials, we should be just fine for that phase of this operation. Now here's another little thing. We have a door here that's covered by a limonite. So we're just going to have this specific limonite be dumped. That'll get it out of the way, and that'll make our double doors look like there actually is a second door there. I know you guys are a little bit concerned there that we might be missing a door. We're not actually. It's just covered by a piece of iron, or at least iron ore. Once we clear more of this junk out, it will make things a little bit nicer for us. Now, we're still smoothing out all the stone in here. If we come and take a look right down here, they're busy smoothing things out right now, which is nice, and we were going to let them keep doing that. We're probably going to want to try and dig deeper, though. We have to dig down into the depths of the earth to find out what lays beneath. We've got a whole bunch of diorite here. Right. No, we still want, though. We're going to probably hunt around and see if we can't find ourselves some transition stones. We kind of need them, like I was talking about in the previous episodes. But for now, I think we'll leave that be. I think. What we will do instead, though, look at all that wood. That's great. Lots of supplies. What we will do instead is come check up here. It looks like people are sleeping where they're supposed to now. We'll have to see if that continues. If we check with the Q menu now, if we hit over the bed and hit P on it, we should be able to see who is actually assigned to it. There's 2 people assigned to that one. Oh, no, good. It actually looks like it's assigned to a bunch of people. I'm not quite sure what this menu actually means, come to think of it. If we look again, is this one the same kind of deal? I'm not sure what that means. We'll have to see if we see dwarves sleeping on the ground in the future, because it looks like it should be fixed now, but I'm not entirely sure. Not entirely sure. Regardless, it should be fine at this point. So, things are looking up. Things are looking up. We got a lot of deforestation going on here. Our trees will regrow, by the way. Although we've pretty much clear-cut this entire clearing, if we give it enough time, trees will regrow in this area. If we check some of these little things, should be saplings? Yeah, saplings. And these saplings will eventually grow back into trees. So it's not like the tree cutting that we're doing is permanently deforesting the area. It will grow back over time. It just does take a while. So as long as we let that go on its own, we should be just fine on that count. And that is all good. We can also go up a couple layers here. I believe we have a bunch of trees on these various heights as well. Yeah, there's a bunch visible here. All of these squares here are also trees in various states. The brown ones were ones which were dead trees at the time, but since it just became the spring again, lovely weather has come in and our trees are no longer dead, which is lovely. All our military dwarves are swapping over their jobs as per standard procedure. Excellent. Oh, there's a party going on. Beldrin's running a party at the chestnut table in our dining hall. If we check down there, we might actually be able to see that going on. Is there anybody attending the party? It doesn't look like it's very well attended there, Beldrin. Are you even here? There's Beldrin. Oh, Beldrin. I'm sorry. Nobody's at your party. If we check the party list with you, we should be able to see anyone who's attending party. Attend party, Beldrin. Are you the only one? Oh, Beldrin. I feel bad for you now. You're the only one. Nobody came to your party. That's too bad. Alright, we do still have our goblin caged and sitting in the middle of our lobby. We should probably get rid of him, otherwise things might not go so well. So we're going to work on moving him somewhere else. I'm not sure why he hasn't been moved. Let's take a look at that cage and see if there's anything special with it. It is a goblin cage. If we view it, we can see it has Strodno Ut Dangersong inside, and if we hit enter to view it, we can see a little bit of specifics about them. We can't see specifically why it's not been moved, though. So what we're going to do is, we're going to come back here, we're going to check downstairs, we're actually going to dig out a new area, I think. We're going to dig out an extension to our stockroom here, and it's going to be our prisoner stockroom. Just a place for holding cages with people in them. Now, if we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is actually in the direct middle of the room, so we'll put our entrance in there, and we'll bring... Oops, I didn't do that properly. Bring this area in here. We might expand it later on, but for now it doesn't need to be huge. That... Oops, I keep doing this wrong. What am I doing? Ah, I'm a fool. Okay, there we go. Don't know why I did that in such a roundabout way. We'll build a little room here to hold some cages for now, and then we can work on it from that point onwards. Our miners should happily come in there and start digging that out for us, and that should expand our area nicely. So we should probably put a door on there as well. We got a bunch of extra beds, a bunch of extra things in here. Are our carpenters making anything for us right now? I do not believe they are. No, they are not. So we're going to get our carpenters working again. We need to have them make some shields for us. Wooden shields are what we're going to be wanting here. So we're going to make 10 of those, because that equips all of our close combat dwarves for now. That'll do. That will help them as sufficiently. I should really come into their gear, though, and set them up to actually be able to use them. And I should double check if battle axe users can actually carry shields. I think they can. They might need bucklers, though. So I might have to go back and change that. But even if we have some superfluous things, we can always sell them if we can't use them, and that will not wind up being a problem. Just something to get going now, and we can always, like I said, get rid of them later. Especially because our carpenters are quite skilled skilled. If we get master crafted ones, that will be good for later. The better the quality of the armor you make, the better it protects you. Okay, so lots of iron upstairs still, no shortages there. Our walls are slowly coming together. I think we might start to make quartzite blocks and then restart this wall structure here so that we can use those instead, because that should make things happen much faster. And we still have a dwarf sleeping on the ground. What are you doing there, chum? We have to put some more beds in here for our dwarves to sleep in, which is fine. We have a huge room. We can easily fit more beds in there, and that would go just fine. Alright, if we're going to have to do that, let's try it. Because it looks like it didn't work out properly here. We still have dwarves sleeping on the ground. Let's build some beds in the barracks. Let's stick another one in there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's more than enough beds, but I'm going to stick in a couple extras just to round off the shape. Now we shouldn't have any problems with beds. Everyone should have more than enough room, and that would be lovely. So, with that said, we have started our armor production. We have people trying to use the appropriate armor anyway. If we take a look at our actual dwarves, we should be able to see what they have equipped in possessions. Where's possessions? Is it in here maybe? Is it hiding? No, I can't see that there. How do we see their possessions? There is a way to do it. I haven't done it in a while, though. Customize, perhaps? No, that's just to change the names. I'm a little bit unsure about that. And did you lose your nickname again? No, Savart Tripp still has his nickname. That's weird. Okay, weird. We are going to worry about that later. People should be attempting to use the appropriate armor. If not, we can always deal with that when the problem arises. And now that we have... Oh, hang on, what's going on here? Oh, no, just cats. Cats adopting new owners. That's all good. Let's hop down below here. We're going to dump out this room, so we're going to go into the designations. Hit B for item designations and D for dump. Dump the stone out of here so that we can use it as a stockpile room for cages, and that will get our dwarf out of that entryway at long last. We're also, like I said, going to start producing some quartzite blocks, and that will make things a bit easier for us later. Rock blocks with B, and I hope... Oh, I can't even specify quartzite, can I? Can I specify quartzite? I'm pretty sure you can specify specifically what you want, but you might have to do it a different way than this. Yeah, I don't think you can really there. That's fine though. As long as we get some rock blocks, we'll be able to use them later, even if they do wind up being all chert and ugly. But they will help producing things down the line, and that will undoubtedly be useful. So once we get this stone out the way, we'll be able to turn this into the stockpile room we planned on making, and that would be good. So... that's what we want to see. People are now making our hospital look quite nice. As this eventually takes over the entire fortress, the whole place will wind up looking lovely. We should also designate this to be smooth, so we'll come in here, hit smooth stone with the designation menu D and then S. Cover all those walls and floors. Good. We also come in here for stockpiles with P, and we are going to set it to a very specific thing. Right now it's set to animal, but we really want it to be set to as a subset of animal. So we'll fill it in here, and then we'll come through again and actually specify. So we go in there, do that, hit Q, specify it, S for custom settings, and here we go. What we want is caged animals. So we want to make sure that that is acceptable in here. Empty cages are fine. No empty cages are in this one. No empty animal traps either. We only want trapped animals. And let's just make sure that things like goblins are actually in here. There's mantises. Yes, good. This looks like all kinds of creatures, and that is what we want to see. Yes. Any captured animals can go in this room. Specifically, though, we're looking for things like the goblins and whatnot. There are corpses and whatnot. We're not putting them in there. Weapon and trap components should not include this. We can double check, though. No, this is all actual trap components. We can turn that back off with disable, and that should be fine. Additional options, yes, allow plant and animals. That's good. So that should become a space where people will allow them to store cages. So someone should now come move this cage. They should. If it's for some reason not happening, we'll have to see. Rez has grown attached to an iron short sword. I hope that doesn't mean physically. Now, what they mean there is that he has grown to like that specific iron short sword, which is good. Excellent. Now, what else can we do here? It looks like our gear is being made. We'll check out here in our Metalsmith's Forge. It does take a while to produce these things. We're almost done the first set of 10 mail shirts. We'll have to make 10 more to equip all of our archers as well, because they're still going to need armor. And then we'll move on to the next stage. This will take a while. It will take a while. In the meantime, we're going to do some mining probably soon and various other associated jobs that do need to get done and will help us get closer to the next phases of our adventure, but for the time being, we'll make do with what we got. Now, there are some other things we're going to try later on. We're going to try and set up some other traps in these areas, because cage traps aren't the only kind, but they're the kind that I prefer. If we look at the traps menu here, if we go to the build menu, go down to traps with capital T, there are stone traps, weapon traps. We're probably making weapon traps, an upright spear and spikes, which are kind of like on the tile. They poke you if you step over them. We're probably going to make some weapon traps, though, once we have access to more iron, and that should work out for us okay. It looks like people are now sleeping in the appropriate beds, so it looks like we didn't have to specify them all individually, because these ones did not get specified, but they are getting used, so that's good. Excellent. And I guess the remaining thing to do is check up a little bit on a couple of little quick things here. If we check, yes, they're still making wooden bolts, that's good, we need those. Bowyer's Workshop is no longer doing anything, that's fine, we don't need any more of those. We do want to make sure that we have access. Good, our charcoal is still being double produced to make up for the fact that we're smelting our ores and using the furnace down here as well. Good, and we should probably try and make another anvil at some point so we can actually double up that room. But I think what we're going to do quickly here is designate these items to be removed. That'll do good, and we'll get this stone hidden. So designate item designations and hide. Now earlier I said we had to dump out all of the items on the floor in this room. I was actually incorrect. That is not the case. You only need to hide them. You can build your workshops on top of this kind of junk. You don't have to worry about that kind of problem. So once we get this cage moved, that should be fine. Oops, for some reason here, our dwarves have... Oh good, they have moved him. Fantastic. I was about to say for some reason they still haven't moved him, but they did. The cage is no longer out there. Our goblin is now sitting in the stockpile, and we can see what is inside there as it blinks. So that's good. Fantabulous. Our people are still training. Our wall is still getting built, which is great as well. And it is looking up for us. We're deforesting this place at a crazy rate, though, which is good, because if we don't deforest it quickly, our massive wood consumption will override the amount of wood we get, but we may want to stop for a bit, because we do have a fairly hefty stockpile in reserve. However, we're looking pretty solid here. I think what we're going to do is we'll end this episode here for now. We've done a lot of armor planning and a bit of related work. Not the most thrilling episode, a little bit of problem solving and that manner of stuff. Hopefully you've enjoyed it nonetheless, though. This has been Vanguard of Valor, playing some Dwarf Fortress for you and making some progress in our fortress's military safety. Whew, there's one whole side of that wall built. Looking good. So, like I said, if you liked the episode, don't forget to like the episode. Thank you again very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.